Patrolling the isolated backroads of the Appalachian Mountains reveals a specific reality. Standard police procedures are designed for human threats, not the anomalies in these case files. These accounts from a lone officer provide a tactical map of what happens when protocol meets the paranormal. The danger lies in our training. In most jurisdictions, investigating a strange noise, deploying physical restraint, or providing aid to a child are the correct responses. In an anomalous environment, these instinctive reactions function as high-risk vulnerabilities. By analyzing the technical details of these four encounters, we can build a threat taxonomy to determine which reactions ensure survival and which lead to a total loss of the asset. First is the roadway encounter, where entities use simulated distress to bypass physical barriers. Second, the subterranean encounter, involving pack-based biological organisms. Third is the tree line altercation, characterized by rapid anatomical reconfiguration. Finally, the woods abduction, relying on acoustic manipulation and geographic displacement. Survival in these zones depends on suppressing human instinct and applying a specific, non-standard rule set for each quadrant. Consider the case of Michelle. She was stopped on a dark road, locked inside her car, reporting that she had hit a child. When the officer arrived, she was already in a state of high psychological stress. The entity she hit appeared as a 9-year-old boy with a mangled leg and pitch-black eyes. Despite his injuries, he was standing at her window, begging to be let in. Michelle reported that while the boy looked hurt, he showed zero signs of pain and spoke with an unnerving, calm demeanor. Yielding to the urge to provide aid in this scenario carries a hidden cost. Michelle partially opened her door before the child's strength and black eyes forced her to slam it shut and flee. She survived the night, but the exchange was already complete. 2 months later, Michelle died in a bridge collapse. The officer noted the strange symmetry. The entity she encountered had a broken, mangled leg, the same injury that would be expected in a structural collapse. The encounter wasn't just an event, it was a precursor to her eventual death. The optimal protocol is strict physical isolation. By refusing entry and maintaining a barrier, you deny the entity the opportunity to establish the proximity needed for a lingering effect. In roadway encounters, the request for help is the weapon. Effective defense requires prioritizing the integrity of your physical barrier over the perceived distress of the target. The subterranean encounter presents a different set of variables. These are physical, light-sensitive organisms with transparent skin and visible veins, biological entities that have adapted to total darkness beneath a residential porch. When the officer followed a resident into a hole beneath the porch, he found a pack of these creatures. Cornered, he followed standard training and fired a warning shot into the ground. In a cave system, ballistics are a tactical liability. The bullet ricocheted off the rock, striking one of the creatures. Instead of dispersing the group, the injury triggered an immediate swarm response. The pack's clicking noises intensified, and they began a coordinated pursuit, ignoring the threat of the firearm. The officer achieved a successful extraction by exploiting the pack's biological weakness. High lumen light on its maximum setting caused severe optical distress, forcing the creatures to retreat and providing the necessary time to reach the surface. Against subterranean biologicals, non-lethal optical disruption provides a significantly higher survival ROI than traditional kinetic force. The third encounter occurred after a diner thief fled toward a tree line. The officer engaged the suspect, a gaunt, frail-looking man, and attempted to apply standard physical compliance to secure him in handcuffs. As the officer locked one cuff, he noticed the suspect's eyes featured pupils shaped like horizontal minus signs. The man smiled, revealing jagged, triangular teeth, and immediately began to resist with strength that didn't match his frame. Seeing the anomaly, the officer pushed the suspect away. The man's body contorted, his back bent forward, and his skin began sprouting hair. Within seconds, he had dropped to all fours and taken the form of a coyote. The risk variables here are clear. Applying physical restraint to a shapeshifter forces an anatomical reconfiguration. By attempting to cuff the entity, the officer placed himself in the kill zone of a predator. The only reason he survived was his immediate decision to break contact and create distance, allowing the entity to flee rather than finish its transformation in close quarters. In encounters with anatomical anomalies, physical compliance tools are useless. Your priority must be maximizing the distance between yourself and the target before the reconfiguration is complete. The final profile involves the abduction of a 4-year-old child. This entity uses acoustic lures, projecting the voice of a parent to pull the target into a massive, circular nest constructed from forest debris. The officer found the child, Emma, asleep in the center of this 15-foot structure. She explained she had followed her mother's voice into the woods to find a surprise. As she followed the sound deeper, she became geographically displaced until she reached this specific clearing. Next to the girl, the officer found a crude doll made of sticks and leaves. The doll was wrapped in a strip of white fabric missing from Emma's shirt, and it featured a tuft of real human hair that matched Emma's own, which had been freshly cut on one side. The mechanic is straightforward. Auditory cues lead to geographic isolation. Once the target is isolated, the entity collects physical samples, hair and fabric, to complete the interaction. The officer removed the doll from the woods and took it to an expert for specialized disposal. Removing the physical object from the site where the hair was taken is a necessary step in ensuring the child isn't targeted again. When voices in the woods don't match your visual reality, the acoustic input is compromised. Survival relies on visual confirmation and the recovery of any physical artifacts left at the site. Survival in the Appalachian backroads requires a total suspension of standard human reactions. This decision tree maps out the required response protocols for any encounter you might face in these woods. If you hear a familiar voice in the trees, demand visual confirmation. Never follow a sound that you cannot see. If a physical entity shows aggression, prioritize high lumen light. Firearms often escalate a situation that optics could have controlled. And if an entity attempts to bypass a physical barrier by simulating distress, you must maintain strict isolation. Any exchange, no matter how brief, can have lingering effects. The data is clear. If you rely on empathy, ballistics, or physical grappling, you are using the wrong tools for the environment. These are not human threats. They are tactical puzzles with specific solutions. True tactical preparedness requires viewing your natural instincts as a liability. Out here, you don't survive by being a hero.